Hey there, Trisha with Upcycled Stuff. Today I'm going to show you how to make a flower. This really isn't probably anything new to you except for the material that we're using. So these are really great little flowers for scrapbooking, card making, embellishing, and they're really delicate. So let's get to it and I'll show you the items that you'll need to make this. So we're going to make these actually out of tea bags. So this is an emptied tea bag from the iced tea blend, so it's a much larger bag than your regular teacup. It's got a really nice tea stain to it. I've just emptied it and rinsed it to get off all of the tea leaves and then set it aside to dry. So you'll need one of these or a couple of small ones if you don't have the large bags. You'll need either a pair of fancy scissors, these are scrapbooking scissors with a scalloped edge, or I'm actually going to use today this heart flower shaped die cut. It's a Sizzix flower die, and there's actually two different sizes on here. So I'm actually only going to be using the larger size flower, and I'll be using two of those rather than the small one. And it'll be apparent why when I get started. So scissors or the die cut. You'll need these implements here I'm using for rolling the different size flowers. So something with a larger diameter anyway, bigger than a pen. This is a permanent marker. And then I'm going to use for my inner petals, this little section here, I'm going to use 3 bamboo skewers held together as my rolling implement. You'll need, probably white glue is better than this. This doesn't dry very nice, but you'll need some sort of glue. And you'll need a toothpick. So let's get started. If you're using scissors instead of the die cut, so here's my die cut pieces. Okay, so they're basically round with scalloped edges. So what you can do, and you would do this with pencil, not marker, but in order for you to see it, just fold your larger tea bag in half or put one on top of the other if you're using the small ones, and make this round circular pattern. And then with your scrapbooking scissors, you can just cut along that edge. And you'll do that all the way around. You can use regular scissors too. This just gives it that nice tattered look. And they come in lots of different shapes and sizes and all that good stuff. So you'll keep cutting all the way around until you get to the center. And you're gonna stop right there. You're not gonna actually cut all the way through and have a hole, because this little round spot here is where you're gonna apply glue to keep your flower in place. So let's get started. I'm gonna take my larger piece first. Well, they're both, the flower pieces are the same, but your rolling implement, your larger one. And I'm going to start just rolling it on top of itself around this marker. I don't know if you can hear it, but I have a rooster across the street who seems to be confused by what time of day it is because he's cock-a-doodle-doing. At any rate, so you're just going to keep rolling this around. Yeah, this is like watching paint dry, isn't it? Alright, so you'll get all the way to almost the end and you'll pull it off. And then this little round part here that I was talking about, so you're going to try to hold your petals together, and then you're going to put glue on that little round piece. And you don't really need it in the center, but you need it on the outer edge the most, because that's where your petals are, and you want it to adhere to all the other little pieces. So you're going to stick all of those little pieces on top of that glue and try to get them to set into place. Not the easiest thing to do, especially with that gel glue that I'm using. It's not the best. It's really sticky on your fingers. But any place where you start to see these little holes, just add a little more before you go any further. Otherwise, it's just going to make a nightmare for you. So just get all your pieces glued down before you go any further. So there's still some glue in there, but we're gonna cover that up with another with our centerpiece of the flower. Just give it a good tap, make sure everything is in there, in the glue. Alright, and then you're going to take your 3 bamboo skewers. You can tape them together if it's easier, but I'm just going to hold them together. And again, start with the outside and start rolling. And you don't have to worry about like tapering them, you just roll the tea bag right on top of itself. And then just keep rolling. Yeah, so tape would probably be a really wise idea. This one's giving me a hard time. My practice one didn't give me a hard time. That's because I wasn't on film, I guess. Film, I just aged myself. Alright, so keep rolling and try to keep it on top of itself, otherwise it's a little bit harder after you pull it off to get it even. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we're almost there. And you'll do the same thing here when you get to the very end. That rooster's killing me, cracking me up. Go ahead and slide out your bamboo skewers. Add glue to that little round spot again. This isn't the best glue to work with this stuff. I think white glue is probably going to be your best bet. Make sure you get all your pieces stuck in there. And then you can use your little, your tiny toothpick just to sort of open that up a little bit. And now there's still some glue inside your larger one from before, so you can just go ahead and stick this inside. And then you're going to let it dry, and once it's dry, this probably won't work as well as I'd like it to because it's not quite dry yet, but once it's dry, you can shape some of these leaves using your smaller toothpick. Just take it and just carefully, because they're really delicate leaves. And of course my glue's not dry, so it's making a mess. And just roll ever so slightly, and you'll see you start to get a bend in those leaves. And you can do that just along the outside. You can do it, you know, some on the inside, as much as you can reach at least, because once you get to those more compact leaves, it's a little bit harder, but give it sort of a natural look, like what a rose would look like. So I'm going to stop because now I'm sticking to my project. But there it is, a leaf made out of a tea bag. And of course, if you're not going to make a rose made out of a tea bag, you can always compost them. But they make really great craft projects. They have this very Victorian look to them because they have that great tea stain, and it's natural. So have fun with it.